Weddings should be joyous affairs filled with family and friends, celebrating the joining of two lives in their happily ever after. But from time to time, issues arise, and we get stories about long-lost loves returning, exes interrupting festivities, affairs coming to light, or even too much drink ruining a wedding. But the worst thing that could happen would be a disaster that affects the lives of everyone involved. And that's exactly what happened in Kuwait in 2009, when a wedding party of over 100 people were caught in a fire that killed 57 of them and injured some 90 others. But this wasn't just some random freak accident, but instead was the work of the groom's 23-year-old ex-wife looking to take revenge over her husband's second marriage. This is the story of Nasra Al-Enezi and the case of the wedding party murders. Zayed Safiri and Al-Enezi had been married for some time, but by all accounts, it was not the best of marriages. That said, the couple would go on to have 2 children together during the marriage. But things would eventually become too much for Safiri, and he would divorce his wife and move on to find a new woman to marry. This being the deciding factor that would eventually lead into the tragic event. You see, Al-Enezi would feel slighted over being so easily and callously tossed aside for a new woman. She would even go on to claim that the pair were not even yet properly divorced when he proposed to his new wife. Over the years, it has been brought forward the various societal issues within many Middle Eastern countries regarding the treatment of women, and many use this case in particular as one such example of the failure of addressing polygamy and the lack of respect that women receive. That said, whatever societal issues may exist do not take away the fact that Al-Enezi would end up killing 57 people in what the court found to be a premeditated murder during her ex-husband's wedding. On the date of the wedding, Al-Enezi would sneak into the party and pour gasoline all over a tent which was used to house women and children as part of the wedding celebration. The segregation of women and children from the men being customary in the country, and one point of the deep societal issues within the nation and its culture. Al-Enezi was seen pouring the liquid by a former associate, but would later claim that while she was there and did pour the gasoline, she never actually lit the tent on fire, leaving before carrying out the deed. What we do know is that after being soaked in gasoline, a fire managed to break out, whether intentionally on the part of Al-Enezi or by accident in the summer Kuwaiti heat. The blaze itself spread quickly, and in less than 3 minutes, the entire tent was engulfed in flames. Making the situation worse was the fact that the tent only had a single exit, which did not meet the standard fire regulations of the country. Investigators stated that the blaze was so fast and so intense that temperatures inside the tent reached upwards of 930 degrees Fahrenheit, melting the women and small children inside. Neither the husband nor the second wife was in the tent when the fire took place, and while Al-Enezi was captured and confessed to the crime, she would later recant that confession at her eventual trial. The trial itself would go on to divide the country, as traditionalists looked for Al-Enezi to receive the death penalty, carried out by hanging in Kuwait for one of the country's worst civilian disasters in modern history. But progressives saw Al-Enezi's actions as being caused by the poor societal standards of the country and hoped, instead, for a sentence of life in prison. The judge in the case, though, would eventually find Al-Enezi guilty of premeditated murder and sentence her to death. She was not in the courtroom for said verdict, but her lawyer was, and stated that they would be appealing the decision. And while this case in particular did better bring to light the growing rise of new generations of people and scholars in the country who are looking for a more progressive way of life, the only thing that changed after the trial and the murders was that Kuwait banned the use of wedding tents for all festivities.